It is, wait a minute, currently in Glenbog State Forest. Well, really interesting part of its life right now, where it is sitting between protection and deforestation, and is one of the last strongholds for some incredibly endangered species around Australia. There's a reason why this place is an incredibly special habitat. And why it's worth protecting. I mean, we're currently sitting at about 1,000 metres elevation, just sort of west of Bega. And it is stunning. I'm completely surrounded by these woolly eucalypt trees, enjoying a coffee and warming up some water for a second. But as I'm sitting here right now, I'm already seeing little wrens fly around, some little robins, some gorgeous little birds now coming out to play as the sun finally peeks through the fog that's been playing around these hills this morning. Yeah, it's truly magnificent around here. Wonderful. Glenbog is a cloud forest. It allows for a very specific type of ecosystem to thrive here. As cool wind hits the Great Southern Escarpment, it's forced upwards and condenses into clouds. And from that, you then get moisture all year round coming through here. It's currently about like 6 or 8 degrees here now, and we reckon it got down to about 3 last night. And because of the way that this is so high, it's relatively disconnected from the regional weather systems that persist around this entire sort of southern New South Wales area, and why you get some of these massive eucalypts and hundreds of years old, 200, 300 years old, that provide an amazing habitat and homes for a variety of creatures. Magnificent. It's just hard to put in the feeling of what this feels like. We've spent the morning driving through this forest, being amongst these massive gums. You know, these gum trees are like 1 metre wide, 2 metres wide, massive things, huge. And then we rounded this corner. I don't even think this is that recent. Things have come back, and who knows how recent this was. It looks a little bit old, but it's still just guttural. And the juxtaposition between being in complete awe of these trees and then coming around the corner and seeing that they've just been chopped down, and I'm speechless. You know, and the thing is that a lot of this stuff sent overseas is not even being utilised to its fullest potential. It's not like this timber's going into like beautiful homes or magnificent, you know, constructions of architectural marvel. It's just being chipped and burnt. 100, 200-year-old trees are just being annihilated for no real reason. It feels egregious.
So, here's where it gets important. In 2019 and 2020, we had the Black Saturday fires, massive fires that burnt around 24 million hectares of Australia.
The mega fire rolling down the Blue Mountains into the town of Lithgow.
In New South Wales alone, around 5.5 million went up. For greater gliders specifically, this was devastating. The fires scorched close to 1/3 of the species habitat. In New South Wales, 42% of that habitat burned. About 1.86 million hectares burned at severe or catastrophic levels. That is where the entire canopy is burned. One study in the Blue Mountains estimated that greater glider populations decreased by about 61%. Gliders can't outrun fires, and they live in the canopy. They sleep in the hollows, and when a fire comes and it burns the canopy, they burn with it. However, Glenbog didn't burn. That permanent cloud, that moisture, meant that Glenbog came through the Black Summer fires relatively unscathed. It was one of the only large, tall, wet forests in south of New South Wales that survived, which makes this entire area ecological refuge. And those exact spots are the places that are scheduled for logging in the coming months.
So as you can probably understand, these trees are massive. They're huge, and they are wide as, I'm saying maybe like sort of 3-4 meters wide, 2 meters at least, and they're huge. They're 200 years old, these trees. Well, I was scratching my head, figuring out a way as to how I can really put this tree to you guys, and the best way I thought possible was to try to climb one and bring you with me. So that's what we're doing today. Now, I don't claim to be an arborist, or someone who climbs trees for a living. However, I think the best way to show you guys what's up here and why this is special is to get up there. The thing is though, and this is the thing, after about sort of 100, 150 years, these trees just stop becoming trees and they become more like an ecosystem. They, like a block of flats. I rattled my brain for some time as to how I was going to get up these things. Seeing videos of arborists getting their ropes up via big slingshot that they would shoot up into the tree, the rope would go around and then it would give them rigging equipment for them to be able to get up. The limbs start to fall off them and inside them you get little hollows, and those hollows start to become little apartments for different animals to come home to every night and to get shelter. I don't have a big slingshot. What I did have at home was a bow and arrow from a random time that I decided that I wanted to take up archery. So that's what we'll be using to get the rope up the branch today. These trees aren't just the shade and the protection from the top high canopy, which then allows all of these glorious sort of rainforesty like plants to thrive under here and create such an amazing ecosystem. They're also a literal like a block of flats. It's an apartment block. This is things you do for nature, hey? Shows you how long since I've done this. I've actually put the bowstring on backwards. Nice. Development before it was development. And animals have been living and breathing in these for generation. And when these are getting cut down, you're not just losing that top layer of the canopy, which has taken 100, 200 years to build. Maybe not the bow and arrow then. Maybe we've learnt that maybe we just use a rock on a bit of string instead. You know, I spent ages thinking up that bow and arrow situation. I was really putting the work in, you know. I thought to myself, what could possibly go wrong there? It just seemed like a perfect plan to me. And then I'm just giving it all up for just a bit of what looks like conglomerate. I don't even know if this thing will probably stay together when I throw it. Well, technically it is over a branch. It's not the part of the branch that I want to be going over. Oh! Bugger it. All right, change of plan. You're loving this, aren't you? I reckon we just get the climbing rope out. You're also destroying homes, and that's happening all over again and again and again and again and again. And I'm seeing hollows up these trees as I'm looking, and it's phenomenal. And my. How far we've come. So you can see that we're in this tree right now. It's probably about 2 meters wide, and I'm up at probably about 30 meters or so. In the space of 5 meters here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see 6 different individual hollows. The tree itself has to grow big enough limbs. Those limbs die, fall off and break off in the weather or whatever it be. And then after that, then you have the development of the hollow itself. I mean, these gliders are endangered and they require such a specific habitat that greater glider itself is a wonderful indicator species. So we know if there's a good, healthy population of greater gliders, we know that the rest of the ecosystem's thriving because they require such specific conditions to live. The powerful owl, one of the most beautiful big owls that we have in here, actually predates as well on the glider. They get a rough trot, but really a full, healthy ecosystem, it's necessary for these greater gliders to actually exist within it, and without them, who knows what will happen. And without these trees, these good old eucalyptus façades, we're not only going to lose the greater gliders and their habitats, but you lose the whole ecosystem up and down.
Under New South Wales logging rules, if a greater glider den or a yellow belly glider den is found, Forestry Corporation has to protect it along with a 50-metre exclusion zone around the tree.
The more dens and hollows we find, the more of like an almost Swiss cheese effect starts to happen, and entire areas become impossible and completely off limits for forestry to be able to log any of it.
So here's the entire question. Who's looking and how hard are they looking? Forestry Corporation surveyed the area. Their method, roughly 2 people, about a kilometre of road, 2 nights, covering maybe 5% of the forest. They found 4 dens. Then a coalition of volunteers, citizen scientists, spotlighting the canopy night after night in freezing cold conditions, returning to individual trees up to 4 nights running to confirm their counts. They found 102. Same forest, Same animal, same nights. The difference was how hard they looked. Forestry Corporation failed to find 98 of the 102, and they just assumed that there weren't any because they hardly looked. It's a straight conflict of interest, and they just started cutting anyway. Here's the part I actually want to talk about. This year, in May, Forestry Corporation actually abandoned its operations in the western half of the forest, an area of greater glider habitat which is about the same size as Sydney's CBD. Safe. The decision protects about 70 greater glider dens and about 700 wombat burrows. And it happened for one reason. It wasn't a court case. It wasn't government intervention. It was volunteers with spotlights. They went out and they just did the work. They walked in a cold forest night after night.
So they're coming through with drones and using thermal image cameras now at night as they're coming out of their hollows in order to find where they are and then to locate them and then map them.
Writing down every animal that they found and just providing the evidence until it was too big to ignore. 18 months of campaigning, coalition representing more than 1 million Australians. That's worked. Half the forest standing because a bunch of ordinary Australians have decided to stand up against it and refuse to look away. And that's the cool thing that's happening here. It's not just like some esoterical battle that can't be won. This is happening right now. But the other half, that eastern half, that's scheduled for September. And we just had word that they're not going to start before 1st of September, but after 1st of September it's open. It can be open slather. And they're planning to roll on in there on any day and just start chopping down these trees. And this is where it gets pointed, because that date, 1st of September, sits inside a very specific window. Right now, the New South Wales government is putting together something called the Forestry Industry Action Plan, a decision on whether logging of native forests continues or ends. And that decision is set to land sometime between July and September, right now. At the same time, the industry is lobbying for its wood supply agreements, which end and expire in 2028, to be continued indefinitely. They want logging locked in before any of this can be changed or protected. The Great Koala National Park up north has taken 176,000 hectares off the table, and the industry's argument is, you got to have that, so let us take this. So when I look at September 1st, I don't see just regular forestry operations just continuing. I see a forest being cut down in the last legal window that it will ever be possible by an industry racing a decision that might end the practice entirely. This is in the middle of a fight. This is the last frontier.
We've got a marvellous system that is housed to endemic species to this area, to Australia, to these cloud forests. We have the powerful owls, we have flame robins, 3 different types of gliders, the wombats, wombats through here. And in all of this, if we can get enough citizen science backing this and getting out here and showing there are so many greater gliders out here and living here and thriving here, then they'll protect more of it.
The government are listening right now. Half of Glenbog is standing right now because of people who had no obligation decided to spend 18 months walking around in the freezing dark and writing down animals and where they live. The government are making a plan. They're in their final spots, and we know that some of the senators are listening. The last thing they want to do is to become accountable for their actions.
Without that, you lose an amazing ecosystem that houses so much life and so much abundance. That the bird life I've been listening to all day today has been phenomenal. So it can be a win, and it's possible. There's a chance here, which I feel like in today's modern world and how the fights that happen, it feels like we're always fighting something and never winning. But there is a legitimate victory that could come from this down the future. So if this has set you on fire and you want to go get some more information, Wilderness Australia, if they take donations and that money goes straight into citizen science, going out and finding these gear like thermal imaging cameras and drones and things, I'd recommend getting out there, getting amongst it. Yeah, bloody awesome. Sorry, Mr. Tree. I am. What's that? What was that? What was that, dude? I am the Snorlax. The Snorlax, the Dr. Seuss book. I speak for the trees. I speak in the trees.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What a mission.
Yes.
you have like a small little thought like, oh yeah, I know what I'll do. I'll just go out and I'll just climb one of these, I don't even know how many year-old trees, 200 years, easily. Oh yeah, just go. I've climbed ropes before. That's me. Trees are a different beast. Completely. A lot, but we got through it. Grunted my way through it. Yeah, you know, they say, you know, if it doesn't work, just work harder. You ate the Cliff Bar that was a year out of date. And on behalf of Cliff, did it taste terrible? It was a bit hard. Okay. Manageable. Well, I'm pretty happy with that, really. I whipped my bloody arm. Look, it's all red. Trying to get that rope back. Oh.
Right. Let's get out of this hellhole.
Like and subscribe. More content to come. Garage Diaries, baby. Let's go.